Meanwhile, in Romania, the leading candidate there, Calin Georgescu, has been banned from running in the upcoming presidential election in May. Kosha, this is a NATO nation. It's supposed to be a democratic nation, but this candidate won the first round. That was deemed illegitimate for some reason. They were claiming there was Russian interference, and now banned from running, the front runner.
This is a pretty stunning development. And when you do things like that, you annul an election that was conducted freely, and then you ban the candidate from running again. It is not a consequence-free action that they're taking over here, because what they're doing is creating a pressure cooker environment in the nation where at least a certain faction of the citizenry is having a lid put on their demands, and there's no venue for them to redress their grievances. That is not going to end well. It never does when you look throughout the span of history. And you can see protests right now happening in Romania, people taking to the streets. So, buckle up for more unrest, and hopefully, worse things could happen. We hope not. It also very much validates J.D. Vance and the comments he's been making in Munich and other venues recently about why are we underwriting so-called democracies in Europe, and this phrase, let's not be a threat to democracy, let's defend democracy, has become a chant almost. And the louder they chant it, it's because these things are happening in these European countries and others, and the whole world can see it.
Absolutely. And I think the Trump administration is watching on very closely here. Now, the Democrats are coming out in support of a pro-Palestinian activist blamed for some of the violent protests at Columbia University. The Trump administration wants to deport this character, but the Democrats are fighting for him to stay in the US. And earlier today, a federal judge did temporarily block Mahmoud Khalil's deportation, and has been arrested over the weekend by immigration agents. Kosha, I just cannot believe the Democrats would come out and try to protect this guy from deportation. I mean, how crazy can you get just as far as electoral popularity? I mean, you are in politics, you do want to appeal to the American people, and we know where they stand on this. To try to stop the deportation of someone who's come into the country, who's causing trouble. We've seen the violent protests at Columbia University. What's the thinking behind this for the Democrats?
So politically, it's not a good move. And, there are all these memes all over the internet where they wouldn't stand for the boy who was fighting cancer, for example.
13-year-old
wouldn't stand, or for Laken Riley's parents or family members and others. And then over here, they're going to town on this. So politically, I think it is a big problem because they're out of step with what people want. Where this issue gets a little bit interesting, and it's actually one of the few where Trump's base is splitting a little bit, is what are the two forces at play? So one is zero tolerance for illegal behavior by immigrants, certainly illegal immigrants, but also legal immigrants like this person, and really using the full weight of deportation power to deport them. The other is free speech, which is a big value, obviously, in the Trump base. And there are questions about legally what did this person actually do, and if it was just limited to speech and signs, as vile and unhinged as they may be, that is a constitutionally protected right in the U.S., or did he do something more? Does he have some actual ties where he was aiding and abetting Hamas, in which case he violated some terrorism laws, and that would be the thing. So I think the judge is trying to adjudicate that. This judge might have something to stand on, unlike all the other unhinged judges who are just rushing to challenge Trump's Article 2 powers. But we shall see. We probably don't know everything that the government has on this person, and I think this story will continue to develop.
But that comparison between them taking a stand for this character, but not people who've been victims of their policies, like Laken Riley's parents, I mean, it just speaks volumes. And Kosha, the Democrats are in all sorts of trouble. Political analyst Van Jones summed up their current situation on CNN, and he is from the left, but he is sane enough to realise this.
Can we talk about Ukraine or something? No. Look, man, we're screwed. I mean, we don't know. No, Democrats don't know what to do. This is a nightmare. The Democratic Party is going through a massive set of internal crises. You have a party that got trapped two ways. One, defending a broken status quo that nobody likes because they thought that Donald Trump was going to make it worse. But when you're defending the status quo, you're going to lose. And then offending most people in the country, calling everybody sexist and racist and transphobic and every other name, and then saying, please follow us. That's not a good strategy, folks.
He makes an obvious point there, but that they are in a crisis at the moment, and they've got to get their act together because the midterms aren't that far away. You need to be prepared.
Van Jones can be sage from time to time. You see
From
those
time to
glimmers
time.
of honesty over there, and I think it worked for them for a period of time, trying to paint the other side as irredeemable, going back to Hillary Clinton and everything they did against Trump, as well as maybe defending this idea that the other side, the Democrat side, is more normal and less chaotic, and that whole line worked for a period. So they keep doing that, but it didn't this time. It didn't last very long. They've been beaten back, and they don't really seem to have a leader, too. Like right now, it's hard to know who is the leader of the Democrat Party that can corral them and herd the cats and align on one message. So they're out there in the wilderness, but not for long. I'm sure they will regroup and come back with a vengeance.
Kosha Gada, thanks so much for your time tonight.